Well, Russ, let's start with the news this week that Keith Lowe has announced he's given up the full-time game, staying in football but giving up the full-time game. Assess his contribution for us.
Fantastic, really. I'll just talk about the current era because I know he's had two previous spells, which one was I was a player with him. But the current era, he's been a model pro, someone to look up to, someone to bounce ideas off. For me, it's been quite difficult to manage, really, in terms of managing one of your best mates, having to take him out of the team, play him, call on favours, because what he's doing for the football club is a favour, basically. I'll explain more in the future, but what he's done for me personally, he's been fantastic. So I couldn't speak highly enough of him.
When he came at the start of the season, did you sit him down and say, look, obviously you're not going to play every game this season. It's a case of managing the number of games you have? Yeah,
I think we had some good conversation at the start of the summer to say, not to say he was going to be back up, but you were going to be not used as much as probably what he wanted to be. But for us to be in that position, we were going to have a good year. And we have had a very good year, and he's contributed probably more than what I thought he would do, to be honest. He's played a lot of games, he's been called upon, he's backed people up, he's come in at tough times, and he's kept his spot when he's played well. So overall, I think he's played in 20 to 25 games of a very congested fixture period.
And of course, he wouldn't have wanted it this way, but you've had some issues with centre halves this season, haven't you, one way or another, so he's been a very useful guy to have around.
Exactly, I think that's the perfect word, useful. And not just that, but I've never ever and ahed about playing him, to be honest. We've been blessed this year, we've had some very good centre halves at the football club, but also very unfortunate that we haven't been able to play the same centre half pairing for more than 2 or 3 games at a time due to injuries and other matters. So he's been part of the 5, I'd say, who have played this season, and he's contributed to an excellent defensive form and excellent performances.
Briefly, just looking back at Blythe, obviously we said before you went, it was going to be a Tesla carrier, a long old way to go. They're fighting for their lives, and that's pretty much how it proved in the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't a great game at all for both teams, to be honest. Pitch was hard, long way up there, long way back. We weren't at our best. So, and obviously with the comedy of errors in the last 10 minutes as well, I think you just take a point, reset the button and move on, and that's exactly what we've done.
So double header coming up this weekend. I know it's the old only one game at a time thing. The playoffs nailed down now, and it's all about securing 4th, I guess.
100%. Listen, we're 8 points behind Ford. Realistically, you've got to look beyond that now. We'll keep going and we'll try and win the last 3 games and see where that puts us. But I'll tell you what, it will put us. It'll guarantee 4th spot. And if we can't finish 3rd, we want to finish as high as we can. So that's the aim. Hopefully that can all be resolved over the next couple of days.
And you start off here against another side that's going to be fighting for its life, Guiseley.
Yeah, and these are tough games because they've got to throw caution to the wind a little bit now. They have to win games of football, they have to score goals, which makes it a very entertaining game in my eyes. We've got to be disciplined and organised enough to deal with their threats, but also enjoy us going forward, because we've got a great, fantastic home record here this season. We've scored lots of goals and we want to continue that form.
The fact they've got to come at you a bit, they need the points, they need the goals, might play into your hands a bit.
I hope so. That's the tactics we're working on, but also we've got to be very careful and not be a bit too disappointed. And if things aren't going our way, we're going to have to weather storms still, because these need the points more than anybody. But like we always set up here, we're set up to win the game, and that's what we'll try and do.
Yeah, you can almost second guess the guys the coaching staff's approach should be right. Get the fans on their back after 20 minutes. Keep them out for 20 minutes, and then home fans will start getting niggly, and then things can turn.
I think there's loads of presumptions really going into the game. If we start the game well, we score early. What does that do? Does it open the game right up? And on the flip side, if they come at us, we've got to be disciplined. We've got to be tight, knowing that we will get chances. So I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be a different kind of atmosphere in terms of 2 teams at the opposite end of the table, but a great spectrum.
3 games in the regular season to go. We know you're in the playoffs. How important is it to you that you go in then with genuine momentum behind you now?
Obviously it's very important, but you've got to be very careful as well of playing the same team over the next 7 days and getting a few tweaks and injuries and possibly suspensions. I think everyone's starting to think about that. We're in a lucky position where we don't have to worry about the outside really and on other results where other teams have got it all to play for. So I think we can manage it, but also don't go the opposite way and go too far down the line where you can overthink things and start mixing the changing and swapping teams around. We've just got to be careful.
presumably got one suspension. That's goalkeeper having had 2 yellows last weekend.
Yeah, so Mark Carrington will fit straight back in between the sticks. I thought he was excellent on Saturday for 10 minutes, and I'll give him a little run around in the 6-yard box.
Does he miss Saturday or does he miss Monday?
He misses Saturday, so Matt tells me anyway.
I
hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't quite sure. I thought it was 7 there, whatever it is anyway. But in terms of injuries beside that, as you say, everybody's carries niggles at this stage of the season. Nothing major.
No, apart from the Cliff Moyo situation, everyone else, full of health, which is great, and we need to keep it that way for the next 10 days, really, going into that playoff game. I've got to manage people. People won't play all 3 games. Players might play 2 over the weekend, might play 1. Keep them fresh and at it, and ready to hit it hard come 10 days' time.
And last one, you mentioned Cliff. I presume you've had the scan results back now, and is it what you feared?
No, he's going for another scan actually, so I don't think it's operational, if you know what I mean. I think it will just be time takes its will take its time, and we'll see where we go from there. We've got a conversation with Cliff near the end of the season in terms of how we see his rehab going, but he's got to be end of the year back fit now, which is unfortunate for the football club, but we'll stick by him and go from there.